There are many forms of God in Hindu mythology, so many that it's practically impossible for anyone to know all of them. In Hinduism, and according to the Hindu scriptures, they all are regarded as manifestations of Brahman, the one without any gender or form, the ultimate reality. Unlike the Abrahamic religions, they do not represent God as a separate entity. Instead, the God, the concept of God, the universe, and human beings all are merged as one, and the same God resides in every human as Atman, or the soul. This makes it all the more interesting to learn about this highly spiritual mythology. Hi, and welcome to our channel. Today's video is all about Hindu mythology, one that is filled with the richness of the knowledge of sages and scholars. But before we begin, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so that you don't miss out on more such interesting videos in the future. Now, let's get started with 10 things about the Hindu mythology that will mesmerize you. So, Sanathan Dharma was the original name of Hinduism until the Britishers named it Hindu. Their mythology is the collection of stories from the literary work of Vedas, Upanishads, Puranas, epics like Mahabharata and Ramayana. And from these, we've picked up 10 interesting stories that'll enlighten you with some very important ideas about Hinduism. Number 10. The Trimurti. Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva are the Hindu trinity, called the Trimurti. Through some, the supreme truth, Brahman, is represented in 3 forms: Lord Brahma, the creator; Lord Vishnu, the preserver; and Lord Shiva, the destroyer. Vishnu and Shiva fulfill their duties by maintaining the life cycle. It is believed that Lord Vishnu existed even before the creation of the universe, and after the first complete destruction of the universe, only Vishnu survived. There is also a theory that states that Shiva is Swayambhu. He created himself. The stories about them are endless, but the fact remains that they're highly regarded in Hinduism. Number 9. Origin of Amrit. Amrit is known to be the elixir of immortality. Because of the curse of sage Durvasa, the Devas, or demigods, became weak, and to revive their strength, they invited the Asuras, or demons, to recover Amrit from the depths of the ocean. They used a spur of Mount Meru, Mount Mandara, as a turning stick, and Vasuki, the king of snakes, as the rope. The Asuras held his head and Devas the tail. To prevent Mount Meru from sinking, Vishnu took the form of a tortoise and supported its base, and the poison resulted from the head of Vasuki was held by Shiva in his throat to prevent the contamination of Amrit. As the churning continued, 13 earthly and heavenly treasures including Amrit were obtained and consumed by Devas. Number 8. The Sridevi. Goddesses Saraswati, Lakshmi, and Parvati, wives of Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva respectively, are regarded as the Tridevi. Saraswati is the goddess of knowledge, music, art, speech, wisdom, and learning. Lakshmi is the goddess of wealth, fortune, power, fertility, beauty, and prosperity. And Parvati is the goddess of power, nourishment, harmony, love, marriage, beauty, devotion, and motherhood. Number 7. Draupadi. Draupadi and her brother were said to be born from Yajna, the fire sacrifice by King Drupada, and the birth of her was followed by the prophecy that this dark-complexioned girl would be the first woman to cause destruction to the warriors and endanger the Kauravas. She was originally married to the Pandava Arjun, but she had to marry all the 5 Pandava brothers because of her mother-in-law's unconscious order. The prophecy indeed turned out to be true, and the Kurukshetra war took place, the reason you'll know in the consequent chronicle. Number 6. Duryodhana. He is the infamous villain of the epic Mahabharata, who originally had the name Suryodhana and was one of the 100 Kauravas. He was later named Duryodhana by his brothers, the Pandavas, because of his dushkarma, or wrongdoings. Duryodhana, in front of the whole assembly, indulged in Vastraharan of Draupadi, which is to disrobe her. However, she was saved by divine intervention. This insult and illicit behavior of Duryodhana led to the greatest war in history, the Mahabharata. Number 5. Prahlada. King Hiranyakashipu was the king of Daityas, who is the same parentage of gods and devas. He took over Devas and considered himself God, but his son Prahlada worshipped Lord Vishnu. On knowing this, the king tried to kill his son, threw him off the mountain, and subjected him to poison, fire, starvation, enchantments, and many other measures. But nothing worked because nothing could hurt the child who was protected by Lord Vishnu. Ultimately, the king brought him to the court and said that if Vishnu resided in the pillar of his court, he will defend Prahlada from harm, and with this hit the pillar. Vishnu arose in a Narasimha avatar, half lion and half man, and killed Hiranyakashipu, thus establishing the power of devotion. Number 4. Raavan. Raavan, the greatest of all asuras, is the evil in the story of the epic Ramayana. Raavan, after years of severe penance, as a devotee of Lord Brahma and Shiva, was bestowed with a boon of immortality, that no dev, asura, animal, or any other creation of Brahma could kill him, and was also given a dagger that labeled him as supreme. But Raavan excluded humans from the boon, considering they can never defeat him. Number 3. Shakuntala. Shakuntala is the abandoned daughter who grew up in the hermitage of sage Kanva. Dushyant, the king of Hastinapur, was on a hunt, and sage Kanva stopped him from killing a deer. He invited the king to his hermitage, where he met Shakuntala and married her. As he had to travel back to his court, he handed Shakuntala a ring to show him when she travels to his kingdom to attain her position as a queen. But one day, the sage Durvasa arrives to her door, and Shakuntala fails to attend to him. Angered, he curses her that Dushyant will forget her existence. On the way to meet her husband, she loses the ring and Dushyant fails to recognize her. Number 2. Abhimanyu. The son of Arjun and his wife Subhadra is Abhimanyu. When Subhadra was conceived, Arjun narrated to her the war technique Chakrava, which was a labyrinth formed in the rival army. Abhimanyu in the womb heard and memorized all the techniques to enter it. But by the time Arjun reached the part where he was taught how to get out of it, Subhadra fell asleep. When the war of Mahabharata took place, he confronted the enemies Chakravya, but did not make it out alive. Number 1. Shravan. The blind parents of Shravan wished to go on a pilgrimage. He created a balance and carried his parents on his shoulders and started the journey. On the way, they only ate the fruits Shravan gave them and did not accept anything from strangers. They reached the forest near Ayodhya and Shravan went to the river, Sarayu, to get some water. Meanwhile, King Dashrath of Ayodhya was out hunting. Hearing the rumbling of water, he thought it to be an animal and shot an arrow only to realize that it hit Shravan. The king carried water for Shravan's parents who denied accepting it. On knowing the truth, the parents too died beside their son. Before dying, they cursed the king that he would die without seeing his son as well, which proved to be true in Ramayana. And with this, we've covered the 10 stories we set out to. The mythology of Hindus is interrelated, the main events being Ramayana and Mahabharata. If you found this video interesting, do read the epics if you get a chance and connect the dots in depth. And to watch more videos on mythological stories, please do subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to like, share, and comment below your views. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.